For women received unlimited cards, but the Maid's incredible act revealed a life-changing secret. In the sun-drenched suburb of Maplewood, fireworks erupted in the plush lives of 4 privileged women. Eleanor, Selena, Lydia, and Nora had just received the ultimate gift: unlimited credit cards courtesy of a local charity aiming to uplift their refined lifestyles. Pearls gleamed alongside laughter as they reveled in their newfound extravagance. Filled with giddy excitement, they envisioned shopping sprees, lavish brunches, and Instagram photos against the backdrop of opulence. Lives like the shimmering dresses they donned seemed perfect. Eleanor beamed, her well-manicured fingers clutching a gold-plated card. Behind the smile, however, lay the burden of living up to her family's lofty expectations. She tossed her hair, hiding the uncertainty that tightened her chest. Selena, the corporate dynamo, masked fierce loneliness behind her power-suited facade. The thrill of the chase overshadowed silent cries for connection. Lydia, the vibrant social media influencer, couldn't shake the gnawing pain from constant comparisons to others' perfect lives. And Nora, a once dreaming artist turned modern-day homemaker, felt lost in her suffocating routine of caring for her family. Yet beyond their swirling moments of elation, an unseen crisis loomed. Mr. Thompson, their elderly neighbor with a wealth of stories etched into the lines of his face, was facing eviction. The women chose to ignore the tremors of discontent that rippled through their community, too caught up in their shimmering world. One evening, clad in designer outfits and surrounded by gourmet canapés, they hosted a chic gathering, laughter ricocheting off opulent walls. Maria, their dedicated maid, watched quietly from the sidelines. She was a single mother. Determined yet weary, she embodied the weight of unacknowledged struggles, doing her best to provide for her young child. Watching the women, Maria felt the sting of disparity, like a bittersweet ache deep in her heart. As the last glass clinked and the stylish guests poured out into the night, Maria stumbled upon a dusty box hidden in the attic. It held the remnants of a long-forgotten community fund intended to aid families like Mr. Thompson's during desperate times. Excitement ignited within her, an urge to change lives surging through her veins. She knew she had to share this with the women, to pull them from their self-indulgent haze. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When Maria presented the forgotten fund, the impact was electric. Tension filled the elegant room as emotions bubbled to the surface. The luxurious life they'd been living now seemed tainted by the struggle of others. For the first time, they contemplated the cost of their excess. The battle within them escalated. Could fleeting luxury truly overshadow the profound need of their community? As they gathered for an urgent discussion about Mr. Thompson's fate, Maria's passion pierced their bubbles of denial. With every word she spoke, they faced the raw reality of their privilege, the air heavy with unspoken truths. They exchanged glances, the weight of their decisions hanging over them like a storm cloud. Then, just as they reached a moment of clarity, news arrived that could change everything. Mr. Thompson's fate would be decided imminently. The weight of their choices loomed larger than ever. Could they reconcile their lives of excess? Or would they remain trapped in a glittering bubble as their community crumbled around them? The conversation swirled like a violent storm in the elegantly furnished room. Maria stood firm, her voice strong despite the quivers of uncertainty breaking through. "We can help him," she urged, her gaze steady across the table. "That fund. It's meant for people like Mr. Thompson. We can change his fate." Eleanor's brow furrowed. "But we just got these cards. We were supposed to have fun. This isn't what we signed up for." Her words hung in the air, as much a statement of denial as it was an appeal to their frivolity. Selena shifted uncomfortably in her chair. "I mean, we can't just give away money we don't even have. What will people think? Wouldn't it be embarrassing if we failed?" Lydia glanced out of the expansive window, gazing at the twinkling lights of Maplewood. Instead of beauty, the lights blurred together into a mess of tarnished gold. It's not about what people think, she whispered. It's about what's right. The weight of those words resonated, stirring a flicker of realization in the others. Nora, silent until now, shifted her eyes from Maria to her friends. She had always been the peacemaker, the one who saw beauty in the mundane, but inside she wrestled with doubt. Do we really want to be those women? The ones who turn their backs on their own neighbors? Maria's face lit up with determination. This is a chance to be more than just women with cards. Let us be part of something bigger. Let us help our community, our neighbor. I senti that why we were given this moment. Eleanor hesitated, her mind racing. Images of extravagant shoes, designer handbags, and glamorous nights faded, replaced by visions of Mr. Thompson's frail hands clutching his eviction notice, the anguish etched on his face. Okay, she said, her voice trembling with vulnerability. Let us do it. Let us set up an emergency fund. We can organize a fundraiser, maybe even a gala. We can invite the community to join us. It doesn't have to just be our money. We can literally show them we care. Selena's eyes widened, a mixture of fear and excitement flooding in. But what if it fails? What if no one shows up? Then we try again, Maria answered fiercely. There are families who need this and we can't be afraid of trying. As the conversation unfolded, a new energy filled the room. They were excited, yet a shadow of fear still loomed. The uncertainty of their transition from lavish living to community caretakers was daunting. But with each passing minute, that fear was slowly replaced with determination. Nora began jotting down ideas. A charity auction, raffles, and local partnerships. Lydia's mind raced with concepts for a social media campaign to drum up interest. Just as the pioneering spirit ignited, a gentle knock echoed from the door. The women's heads turned. They exchanged wary glances, unsure of who could be seeking them at this hour. Maria, sensing the apprehension, moved to open the door. As she swung it open, the sight that greeted her made her heart drop. It was Mr. Thompson, standing at their threshold, weariness painting his features. He looked small, fragile against the backdrop of their opulence. Ladies, he croaked, a hesitant smile breaking through the worry etched in his face. I've come to ask for your help with something important. The air thickened with tension, secrets waiting to be uncovered. What did he need? Did he sense their plans? Could his challenge align with their intentions for change? Or would their new journey be halted by one unexpected twist? As uncertainty hung heavy, the women braced themselves, hearts racing. They were on the brink of transformation, but now they faced a choice. Would they rise to the occasion or be swept back into their sheltered lives? Maria's heart raced as Mr. Thompson stood at the door, framed by the soft glow of the hallway lights. His presence was a stark reminder of the weight of their decisions. Mr. Thompson, she managed to say, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. What can we do for you? His weathered hands trembled as he shifted nervously. I came to ask for your guidance. But it seems you are already on the path to something important. His eyes darted to the table laden with half-formed ideas and plans. I didn't mean to interrupt. Eleanor stepped forward, her earlier reluctance slipping away. No, please, Mr. Thompson. You're exactly who we need to talk to. If we're going to help, we have to understand what the community really needs. He nodded slowly, gathering his thoughts. I don't want to burden you. I know you ladies have your own dreams now. But this is our dream, Lydia interjected, the urgency evident in her tone. We want to help. What is it you need? We'll be anything but burdened. His sigh was heavy with the weight of his worries. I'm worried about the local food pantry. It's at risk of closing down due to lack of support and donations. Many families depend on it, especially with the way things have been lately. The room grew quiet. The lavish decor around them felt almost like a gilded cage in that moment. Selena crossed her arms, her brows knitting together. We could support it. Organize a food drive to gather supplies, she proposed, enthusiasm battling her earlier anxiety. Maria could feel the air shifting. Yes. A food drive combined with a fundraiser. We can promote it together. We can invite anyone who wants to join us. This can be bigger than we imagined. The realization ignited hope in her chest. They weren't just women with fancy cards. They were the voice and mechanism for change. Can you connect us with the pantry? Eleanor asked, an edge of inspiration in her voice. Maybe we can host an event there. Gather people, raise some funds, and rally the community. Mr. Thompson's eyes gleamed with gratitude. You do that? For us? For the pantry? He almost couldn't believe it. Of course. Nora took a step closer, urgency filling her spirit. This isn't just about us anymore. This is about lifting everyone around us. It's a group effort. Discussion swirled as the women bounced ideas off one another, fueled by a shared purpose. But within the excitement, there was an underlying fear gnawing at Maria. Even if they managed to gather supplies, would it truly be enough to make a difference? Lydia prepared her phone to record the ideas, capturing each meaningful idea. And we'll need volunteers. We need every hand we can get. Let us champion this, Selena said. We can even reach out to local businesses for sponsorships. If they see how many people we can bring together, they might help. The enthusiasm was electric, a sharp contrast to the uncertainty that had hung over the room just moments before. Mr. Thompson, his face softening with relief, seemed to age a few years in those moments, as if the burden of worry had lifted slightly. As they gathered around the table, hearts racing with shared purpose, a small fracture of doubt crept into Maria's mind. Would they truly have the community's support? What chaos might arise as they pushed forward into uncharted territory? Before she could voice her concerns, Mr. Thompson spoke again, drawing everyone's attention back with a grave note. I should tell you, while we certainly need help with the pantry, there are other families in the community too, and quite a few of them are living on the edge. Evictions, hunger, something bigger is brewing. It's more than just food. His eyes looked from one face to another as he laid down the weighty truth. The needs might just exceed what you're prepared for. The silence fell thick around the group, igniting a new layer of urgency within them. Little did they know, they would soon uncover a web of struggles buried beneath their own comfortable lives. Would they find a way to weave a tapestry of support, or would the enormity of the challenge threaten to unravel them completely? As Mr. Thompson's haunting words lingered in the air, Maria's eyes sparkled with determination. Then let us not just stop at food. Let us be the changemaker we want to see in Maplewood. Together. The door had opened, revealing a path fraught with complexity and hope. And as they ventured deeper, the questions raced through Maria's mind. What more could they uncover? And what sacrifices would they need to make? Maria sat at the table, her mind racing through possibilities and worries. The weight of Mr. Thompson's words settled in her chest. Families were struggling, the pantry was in jeopardy, and they were just a handful of women with an idea. Yet amidst that storm, a fire ignited within her. She needed to act, to move beyond their initial thoughts and push for something bigger. Okay, everyone, Maria said, her voice steadier now. The food drive is our first step, but we need to think beyond just supplies. I want to create a team, something that can respond to all sorts of needs here. Lydia nodded, her excitement building. What about a community fair? We can have booths, activities, and local artists. It'll draw people in, create a sense of belonging, and spark conversations about all the issues we're seeing. Selena's eyes widened. And we can hold informational sessions. Bring in people who can provide help with everything from job training to budgeting advice. This could be a real hub of information and support. Eleanor leaned forward, scribbling notes furiously. We could even collaborate with local health services for checkups. If we're opening the conversation about needs, we need to offer everyone a chance to speak up. Maria felt a swell of hope. Each suggestion was like kindling, igniting a greater flame of possibility. Yes, we need to spread our reach. We can use social media, create flyers, let us get everyone talking. Just then, Mr. Thompson coughed lightly, grabbing their attention again. I don't want to take away from your passion, but I must remind you that not everyone has the internet or social media. We might have to go door to door, share flyers in person. The room quieted once more. Maria could feel the weight of what he had said. We will do that, she said resolutely. We can split into teams. Reach out to neighbors. We can show them we're here to listen and help. What if they want to open their doors? Nora said, her brow furrowed. Some want to, Maria acknowledged, but many will. We need to build trust in our community. It might take time, but if we're genuine, they might just surprise us. As they strategized, an undercurrent of energy flowed through the room. They were grasping at something extraordinary, something that could potentially change lives. Yet, doubt lingered on the fringes of their enthusiasm. Do you think we're ready for this? Lydia's voice trembled slightly. Feels overwhelming. One by one, the women looked at each other, each knowing they felt that same apprehension rising. The enormity of the task loomed large, yet with a shared vision glowing like a beacon, they found their strength in unity. Maria's heart surged. We won't find the answers if we don't try, she insisted. These families are counting on us. We may not have all the resources, but we have determination. And that counts for something. As they plotted their course, Maria's thoughts danced with the potential change they could create. Maybe they could be the hope that so many were yearning for. But as she contemplated the journey ahead, she couldn't shake the question that settled in the back of her mind: what hidden struggles lay beneath the surface of Maplewood? Before long, they launched into their tasks with renewed vigor. Volunteers were mobilized, plans were made, and excitement spread like wildfire. As the night wore on, they laughed, shared fears, and most importantly, began to believe in something larger than themselves. In their hearts, they knew the challenges would be immense. Just as Maria felt the weight of hope, there was another weight: what if they didn't reach those who needed it most? As they prepared to leave, Mr. Thompson lingered a moment longer. You're embarking on a brave journey. Just know sometimes our greatest challenges reveal our greatest strengths. With those profound words echoing in her ears, Maria stepped outside into the cool night air, staring at the stars twinkling above. Could they truly make a difference? Or was this just a fleeting dream? With a tightening in her chest and a pulse of determination, she whispered into the night, "Let us find out." And as tomorrow dawned, a new question rose: how far would they go before they discovered their own limits? The morning sun spilled over Maplewood, casting soft golden rays that danced across the pavement. As Maria stepped out of her house, the scent of fresh coffee wafted through the air. It was an invigorating blend, a perfect start to a day that could change everything. She could feel the weight of anticipation buzzing in her veins, each step feeling lighter than the last. Gathering at the community center, the group of women assembled, ready to map out their outreach strategy. Smiling faces greeted her, but beneath the surface, Maria sensed a growing nervousness. They were already a day behind on their timeline, and the weight of expectations felt heavy. "All right, ladies, here's what we need to do," Maria began, pulling out a large piece of paper filled with notes. "Let us break into teams, those who can canvass neighborhoods and those who can handle social media. We need a plan that touches every corner of Maplewood." Lydia instinctively raised her hand, a glimmer of enthusiasm in her eyes. "I can rally the younger crowd for the social media campaign. I know a few kids from high school who would be eager to help." "Absolutely. They can create eye-catching content. Maybe even a video?" Selena chimed in, tapping her fingers excitedly on the table. Ideas flowed back and forth, and as they brainstormed, Maria felt a surge of energy enveloping the room. On the surface, it seemed they were on the verge of something impactful. Yet, doubt loomed in the distance. Suddenly, Nora's voice cut through. "But what if it doesn't go as planned? What if we don't reach anyone?" A hush fell over them. It was a question that hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. Maria took a deep breath. "But what if we do reach people? What if we change just one family's circumstances? That's worth fighting for." The women exchanged glances, a shared understanding passing between them, as if the very fabric of their resolve had strengthened. They were filling a vacuum, a gap that had gone unnoticed for too long. Once the meeting wrapped up, they dispersed into their assigned tasks, each woman carrying a spark of purpose. Maria could feel the excitement of the unknown. She found herself on a porch, hands gripping a stack of flyers, knocking on doors. Every knock cross-examined her confidence. Would they listen? Would they care? Catherine, an elderly woman with her garden flourishing in vibrant blooms, opened her door. Her expression shifted from surprise to warmth as Maria explained their mission. "It's about rebuilding our community," Maria shared, her heart racing. "We want to be a support system." Catherine absorbed the words, her gaze softening. "I remember how people stepped up for me when I lost my husband. I'd love to help." That one admission shone bright, a beacon of shared experiences. As they continued knocking, stories poured out of closed doors that swung open. Each home unveiled another hidden struggle: families facing eviction, elderly neighbors in need of companionship. Maria's heart swelled. This was much bigger than she thought. Hours later, Maria gathered with her team, exhaustion evident in their expressions, but a spark of something deeper radiated in the room. They discussed the day, recapturing the snippets of triumph mixed with heartache. The conversations had uncovered layers of the community she never imagined. But as they looked at the number of flyers left, a troubling thought crept back. What if we don't reach everyone? What if we fail those who need us most? She whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Her uncertainty hung in the air. And just when the weight felt too heavy, Lydia spoke up. What if this is just the beginning? A seed planted that will eventually grow? Maria could only nod, a ripple of hope brushing against her heart. But just as they began to feel their spirits lift, an urgent knock echoed from the door. The weight of something pivotal loomed. What new challenge awaited them? What else did they have to uncover about their beloved town? Maria's heart raced as she exchanged worried glances with her team. The urgent knock echoed again, louder this time, demanding attention. She stepped forward, her hand trembling slightly as she reached for the doorknob. With a quick glance back at the women gathered around, anticipation hung thick in the air. Swinging the door open, she was met by a young woman, no more than 20, with tear-streaked cheeks and eyes brimming with worry. I'm sorry to bother you, but I've heard what you're doing in the community. I need help, the girl stammered, her voice cracking like glass. Maria's heart sunk. Of course. Come in, she urged, stepping aside to let her in. Once inside, the group huddled closer, instinctively leaning in to listen. I'm Emily, the girl introduced herself, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. I've been trying to take care of my little brother since our mom left. I'm scared we'll lose our home. I don't know what else to do. The air shifted weight as the reality of Emily's situation settled over the room. Maria could feel the familiar ache in her chest, the kind that came from witnessing the struggles etched on so many faces in Maplewood. What do you need? Maria asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. They cut our welfare and I can't pay rent. I've tried everything, Emily admitted, her breath hitching. I just want to keep my brother safe. I don't want him to have to go into the system. Lydia stepped forward, her expression fierce with determination. We can't let that happen. We'll help you. We'll find a way. Selena nodded, looking at Emily with compassion. Have you tried talking to your landlord? Sometimes they'll work with you if they know you're trying. I haven't, Emily said hesitantly, shaking her head. I was too ashamed. Don't be. You're doing everything you can for your brother. That's what counts, Maria encouraged, her thoughts racing. They couldn't let Emily fall through the cracks. Not now. Not when the whole point of their outreach was connecting with people like her. Ideas began to swirl among the group. What if we organized a fundraiser? Selena suggested, her excitement returning. We can reach out to local businesses. Maybe a bake sale? A community potluck. Everyone loves food and fellowship. Lydia exclaimed. Maria's heart lifted with the flood of hope and purpose washing over them. But she still felt the weight of reality pressing down. That'll help in the short term. But what about the long term? We need to find resources for her moving forward. We'll connect with social services, maybe even get a local attorney involved, Selena said. We can be her advocates. Tears pooled in Emily's eyes and she could hardly speak. You really want to help me? This is just the start, Maria promised, feeling the spirit of her community alive in that very moment. We're here for you. As they began mapping out their next steps, Maria couldn't shake the feeling that this was merely the tip of the iceberg. For every person helped, how many more were out there struggling silently? The world felt full of burdens, but she knew that they could make at least a small difference in their corner of Maplewood. Suddenly a thought hit her hard. What if we created a community resource network? Something permanent? Lydia's eyes widened. That could change everything. As the group erupted in excited chatter, discussing the potential impact, Maria glanced at the door. A steady determination ignited within her. They had just scratched the surface, but everything was beginning to unfold. Yet just as hope swelled in the room, the seriousness of the night ahead loomed. Maria's phone buzzed sharply in her pocket, and she pulled it out to see a message from her husband. We need to talk. Her heart dropped. What lay behind those 3 words? What kind of conversation could change the tone of this moment? With uncertainty gripping her, Maria felt the familiar pulse of fear and anticipation intertwining. What conversation awaited her? Maria's breath hitched as she processed the chilling message. We need to talk. It felt like an iceberg, heavy and looming, blocking her path forward. Her eyes flicked towards her team, enthusiasm bubbling over in their voices, unaware of her inner turmoil. Maria? You okay? Lydia's voice cut through the excitement, pulling her back to the present. Yeah, just checking something, she managed, forcing a smile. But her mind was racing. What was there to talk about? The fleeting moments of joy that just sparked in the room felt fragile, on the brink of breaking. Emily shifted nervously, her eyes darting between Maria and the others. Am I interrupting something? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. No, not at all, Maria reassured her, shaking off the dread. You're the most important thing right now. She looked at the young woman, absorbing the weight of her fear, her vulnerability. Maria took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment, focusing on Emily. They were going to find a way to help her and her brother. That had to be their priority. With renewed energy, they began brainstorming fundraising ideas. They dove into discussions about a community potluck, setting up local business partnerships, and creating flyers to spread the word. Lydia and Selena tossed ideas back and forth, their enthusiasm contagious. As they mapped it all out, Maria felt a fleeting sense of escape, until the insistent buzz of her phone broke through again. She glanced at it, her heart sinking further with each vibration. I should respond to this. I'll be right back, she said, an apologetic smile lifting her lips as she stepped into the hallway. Alone for a moment, Maria wrestled with her thoughts. What was it? Was it the situation at home? Had he heard about Emily? Did he think she was getting too involved? She hesitated before replying, her fingers hovering over the screen. But a sudden rush of determination overcame her. She couldn't let this moment derail her efforts to help Emily, to help their community. Taking a deep breath, she texted back. Can it wait? I'm in a meeting right now. The silence in the hallway felt heavy as she pocketed her phone and walked back in. Almost immediately, the vibrant energy of the room washed over her again. Emily looked a little more at ease, the corner of her mouth drawing up slightly as she listened to Lydia pitch another idea, the spark of hope slowly igniting in her eyes. Maybe we can start a weekly support group too. There are so many people who could benefit from a place to share their stories, Selena suggested, her face glowing with inspiration. Yes, that way we can tackle things together. You're not alone in this fight, Lydia added, her enthusiasm growing. Emily's eyes widened, and tears shimmered in them again. But this time they were different. They held the shimmer of hope. You really think we could do that? I feel like I'm not so helpless anymore, she said, her voice trembling with gratitude. A familiar warmth spread through Maria's chest. We absolutely can. In fact, why don't we write down some initial ideas about the support group? We can meet again next week. As the wheels of progress began to turn, Maria felt the weight of her own troubles lift for a moment. She thought of the burdens Emily would no longer need to carry alone. But just as her heart swelled, Maria's phone buzzed once more, this time vibrating ominously against her thigh. The message was from her husband again. Please, Maria. This is important. The words struck like a bolt of lightning. Deep down, she felt the urgency to listen. But so many lives depended on her now. How could she balance it all? As she glanced back at the room, the faces of her friends illuminated with hope, and Emily's fragile smile shining like a beacon, Maria realized she stood at a crossroads. She could feel the pull of duty to her family, and the community tug in opposite directions. Which path would she take? Would it be the support of her husband or the needs of those counting on her? The question loomed over her like a dark cloud, and with each heartbeat, she knew that the answers she sought were moments away from her grasp. Maria's heart raced as she weighed the options before her. On one hand, there was her husband, waving a flag of urgency, begging for her attention. On the other, glowing faces full of hope hung in the balance, a community on the verge of transformation. She took a deep breath, willing herself to focus. Let us write down some ideas for that support group, she urged, trying to sound upbeat. What do we want to cover? Things like housing, job placement, and health resources? The room buzzed with ideas. Lydia quickly grabbed a marker and began scribbling on the large whiteboard. We could bring in guest speakers. Maybe someone from the local food bank or a mental health professional. Maria nodded along, but her thoughts were miles away, tangled in the shadows cast by her phone's relentless vibration. Emily, how are you feeling about all this? Maria prompted, bringing her attention back to the heart of the room. Emily blinked, her eyes alight with fresh determination. I feel seen. Like I'm part of something bigger. For too long I've been just surviving. Now her voice trailed off, as if suddenly struck by the enormity of what they were discussing. Maria's chest tightened at the sight of Emily's vulnerability. She wanted so badly to protect that light, that moment of realization that came with community support. Exactly. That's what we're here for, Selena jumped in. You're not just a survivor. You're a warrior. A soft chuckle escaped Emily, mixed with the warmth of a burgeoning smile. For a moment, the heaviness of Maria's own worries slipped away. But the phone buzzed again, a stark reminder that her own battles were far from resolved. Feeling the pressure crawl back up her spine, Maria excused herself again. I'll be right back. I just need a moment, she said, slipping outside once more, taking quick strides down the hall as if distance could help her think. She pulled out her phone, eyes fixed on the urgent message. Each word loomed larger than life. Please, Maria. This is important. She felt the heavy silence around her, amplifying her internal storm. What could possibly be so pressing? With shaking hands she replied, struggling to convey anything but steadfastness. I'm busy right now. Can we talk later? Her thumb hovered over the send button. This felt different. Normal concerns could wait, but did she even know what was at stake back home? There was so much she needed to uncover. Just as she sent the message, a familiar voice broke her thoughts. Maria? It was Lydia stepping outside. The concern knitted across her brow tugged Maria back toward the warmth of the room, toward the purpose she was building. I just needed a moment, Maria confessed. It's complicated. Lydia studied her for a beat. You don't have to carry it all alone, you know. We're here for you too, she said softly. With a flicker of gratitude, Maria felt the community's pull once again. But the discord had taken root. Could she share her burdens now? Would admitting her struggles make her seem weak? As the door swung back open, Maria inhaled deeply, held onto the hope brimming in the room, and stepped in with purpose. All right, everyone. Let us get back to planning. We've got lives to change. But as she gestured to begin, the unmistakable sound of a crashing door echoed through the hall, drawing all their attention. It came from the main entrance, sharp and jolting, and the world inside shifted on its axis at the unexpected interruption. What and who would walk through that door to change everything? The door flew open with a bang, and in stepped a figure all too familiar yet startlingly unexpected. Mia, the local restaurant owner, stood there, her cheeks flushed and her eyes wide. The bustling chatter of the support group stilled instantly. Everyone's gaze snapped to her. Maria! Mia called out, her voice trembling as she rushed toward her. I need you to come with me now. Confusion rippled through the room. Maria felt a prick of fear run down her spine. Mia, what's wrong? She said, her heart thudding loudly in her chest. There's been an emergency at the cafe. A fire broke out. No one was hurt, but Mia hesitated, glancing back, searching in vain for the right words. I need you to help me figure out what to do. The health inspector is on his way, and we can't let this ruin everything. The weight of the moment pressed heavily on Maria. On one hand, she saw the eager faces of her community, ready to transform their lives, to build something beautiful from the ground up. On the other, her friend stood before her, shaking and wide-eyed, needing her support in a time of crisis. The pull of both worlds was nearly unbearable. Okay, Maria exclaimed, trying to steady herself. She turned back to her group, who wore expressions of shock and concern. I have to take care of this. But I'll be back, I promise. You all keep brainstorming. We'll figure this out together. Maria noted the glimmer of understanding in Lydia's eyes as she hurried out, following Mia into the chaos of the cafe. Outside, the scent of smoke curled in the air. Maria swallowed hard as they approached the building. The exterior already blackened against the backdrop of a bright afternoon sky. The sirens had faded, but the dread remained, wrapping around her like a heavy cloak. Once inside, the sight was worse than she imagined. Tables lay strewn about, remnants of what had been a beloved gathering place now surrounded by soot-covered walls and charred debris. Maria. Mia called, her voice breaking. We can't lose this place, it means too much to everyone. Taking a breath, Maria scanned the damaged cafe, her mind racing. She could see the laughter of friends over coffee, the joy of a good meal shared. This was more than a business. It was a lifeline for many. Glancing around, she noticed a glimmer of hope in the rubble. An untouched section of the wall where an old mural still glowed faintly through the smoke. Mia, we can rebuild, Maria said, her resolve hardening. This community can rally together. We've already talked about coming together for each other. Now it's just a different kind of support group. We can start now. The fire may have taken a piece of the cafe, but it wouldn't take the heart of what they had built within the community. It was a moment where everything changed, even for the members of the support group they'd gathered. But as they started to brainstorm ideas on how to restore the cafe and the livelihoods intertwined within it, a voice in the back of Maria's mind began to haunt her. The text she'd sent before it still lingered like a shadow. Would she have to confront those truths alone while trying to help Mia? Maria pushed the thought away, focusing on the task at hand. She had to hold on to hope. But the question of her husband's pressing situation gnawed at her. Was she really up for all of this? Let us make a plan, Maria said, determination in her voice. We will get through this together. But deeper, darker secrets lurked beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to come crashing through. Would the community's needs and her own overwhelming worries become too much to bear? The sirens of urgency were not just outside, they echoed inside her heart as well. What could happen when she finally faced that truth? As the haze of smoke lingered like an unwelcome guest, Maria clutched Mia's hand tighter, like lifeline. Together they stood before the remnants of the cafe. A heart of the community stripped bare but not defeated. Okay, we need a plan, Maria said, her mind racing. We call everyone. If we work together, we can make this place shine again. It doesn't have to end here. Mia wiped tears from her cheeks, determination setting in. We need materials, volunteers, everything. I can't do this alone. Just then, the door creaked open, and in stepped a small entourage of neighbors and familiar faces, drawn by the commotion. Elders from the community joined with young families, shocked yet steely-eyed in resolve. What happened? One of the neighbors asked, a kind but commanding woman named Doris, her heart still for those she'd known for years. A fire, Mia replied, her voice shaky but sunny as a new dawn. But we're going to rebuild. We're going to bring the cafe back stronger than before. Those words hung in the air, a call to arms that flickered like newfound light. One by one, hands shot up, ideas firing off like sparklers. We can organize a fundraiser. Someone shouted. A bake sale. Echoed another. The community fair. Lydia suggested. We can make it happen right here in this parking lot. We'll rally everyone to help. This cafe is ours too. It's not just Mia's, huddled together. The ambers of determination flared in the crowd. Maria felt warmth spreading through her. A budding glow that chased away the shadows. Their community, out of crisis, would rise to meet the call. Let us break into teams, Maria encouraged. We need people to gather supplies, others to create flyers, and some to contact local businesses for donations. Each one of us matters in this. Count me in for the flyers. A teenager shouted, enthusiasm filling her voice. I'll bake the best pies you've ever tasted. Doris chimed in, her smile wide, eyes twinkling. As ideas flooded the air, Maria felt a wave of connected energy chase the weight off her shoulders. The phone in her pocket buzzed again, but instead of anxiety, she embraced the noise. This was her community cradling her as they pulled together. Then, addressing the crowd, Maria said, let us set a date for the fair next weekend. This can be the spark we need to bring back the cafe and show Maplewood what we're made of. Rallying cries echoed around her, hands surged upward, and the proximity of solidarity made the room sing. You could feel the passion rolling like waves through the crowd. Before long, teams scattered, busying themselves with different tasks, each person a thread in an intricate tapestry of community spirit. And yet, in the back of her mind, Maria's husband lingered like an uninvited thought. What was so urgent? The buzzing was a reminder that there were pieces of her life to reconcile, a home to defend as well. But in this moment, duty wrapped her heart around countless faces. Hours blurred together as they made plans, drew sketches and compiled a list of needs. Action ignited from every corner. Laughter echoed. Voices mingled under the waning sunlight spilling into the world outside. But just when hope shined brightest, a familiar figure stepped in through the doorway. Her husband, Daniel. The tension flooded back into Maria's chest. He looked worn, shadowed by concern, his brow furrowed deeply. "Maria," he started, a hint of urgency in his tone. "We need to talk. What is happening here?" Maria felt the air thicken. This was the moment she had dreaded, where home and community collided. This is our community coming together after the fire. "We're bringing the cafe back," she replied, trying to maintain calmness, her heart drumming a nervous beat. "And what about us?" Daniel's voice was firm yet softer than she expected. "We can't turn our backs on this, Daniel. This is just as much about us as it is for them," she argued, a tremor slipping into her voice. "We're making connections, forming bonds. They need us as much as we need them." "I know. I get that. But I'm worried about what is happening at home too. The bills are piling up and..." The words hung between them, heavy with unfunneled tension. "I know, but what about the worries we faced last week in our own lives? Isn't there a way to blend this?" Maria said, her heart aching to unveil the transparency of stitching both worlds together. But Daniel's face softened slightly as he searched for understanding. "You're pouring your heart into this. But our family needs you just as much. And I'm scared we're losing you." Tears brimmed in Maria's eyes, knowing he spoke the truth even as her heart ached for the community forged before her. No, you aren't losing me. This is my truth. But can't our family venture this with us too?" He softened, his brows unknitting. "Okay, let us return to the group together. We can help them and they can help us." As the words floated in the space between them, a hopeful flame ignited in Daniel's gaze. "And maybe we can help folks like Emily too?" "Yes," Maria exclaimed, embracing the glimmer of possibility. Together they returned into the cafe, a united front, as the links of community tightened around them. "Everyone, this is my husband, Daniel," Maria called out, extending her hand. "He'll be helping us rebuild the cafe together." The warmth of acceptance enveloped them. The moment signified a union acknowledging the duality of their lives, the intertwining of support flowing through their hearts. Emboldened by collective action and rekindled hope, the night unfolded, a testament of unity blossoming under the starlit sky. As laughter mingled with fervent conversation, Maria felt the swirling whirlwind of emotion settle. Her two worlds converged at last, and suddenly she knew they could navigate the storms and lights together. The next morning stirred with purpose, and they stood before the cafe. Today would unveil their determination. A celebration springing forth, the community fair would breathe life into broken things. Hearts pulsed, ready to light a path forward together. Each of them a vital thread in a network that would weave their futures. And as hope shimmered in their eyes while facing the open door of the cafe, Maria whispered to herself, "Together we will rise." The journey was jagged, but in the echoes of solidarity, they found strength in connection, resilience through shared purpose, and warmth like embers glowing against a darkening sky. Now more than ever before, they were family, not just women lost in privilege, but a tapestry of community, woven together in threads of love, hope, and transformation. So, dear friends, if you're feeling inspired by Maria's journey, this is the moment to support your community. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that could ignite your own spark for change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support fuels this community. Comment below with your thoughts and let us know how this story made you feel. And finally, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the message of hope. True fans know the power of connection.